Imagine he'll try to set the tone in discussions to determine the scope of what may be possible at the official meetings next week. Given his close ties to the Power Corporation and the Canada-China Business Council, Chrétien served on the board. This is the one that Jean Chrétien is directly linked to. So no doubt there's something suspicious going on here with Jean Chrétien going over there first. His daughter married into the Desmarais family, all those connections. And here's a greasy photo up, grip and grin. Jean Chrétien still getting out and about, 90-something years old. These dirty dogs are up to something again. I mean, they're so entrenched with China. It's absolutely disgusting. The Liberal Party are a bunch of traitors. With all this news going on, Venezuela, we've got this housing situation. Mark Carney has time to act. He's going to China on the 13th of January. He has a couple days to act. Do you think he's going to come up with anything? Or is he just going to twiddle his thumbs and then off to China he goes?
Really don't think we can get China to agree that they won't engage in the extensive espionage they do in Canada, or their harassment of people in our country. I mean, they already claim they never do that. So I don't really know what kind of progress we could make in security, not to speak of cyber espionage and the concerns we have about China's ability to interfere in our critical infrastructure in time of conflict. So I don't know. I mean, the Prime Minister is going to be there for a good long time. He leaves Ottawa on the 13th. He doesn't leave China for Davos until the 17th. He has meetings with the Chinese president and the premier and various others. But I really wonder if they'll get anything more than promises out of the People's Republic of China from this visit.
He's not going to get anything from this aside from not for Canada. I'm sure he's going to get something going for himself. He's rolling out something there. We'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. And the WF too. I mean, what's he doing over there? He's getting together with the grifter gang. The WF needs to be shut down.
China from this visit.
You outlined all the different concerns with so many different factors here too. Do you, should one of the other concerns for this as well, with the U.S. and China's relationship clearly strained too, that we risk doing more damage with Mark Carney going to China and possibly with respect to Donald Trump and the Kuzma renegotiations?
Yeah, I mean, if we said to the Americans, well, we could get those Chinese EVs in Canada, and if you don't want us to have those, then maybe you should consider continuing to allow Canada to produce automobiles for export to the United States in southern Ontario. I don't think that would wash with Mr. Trump. He doesn't take well to that kind of coercion. And there's also indications from some elements within Washington that if we were to allow the Chinese EVs into Canada, they'd be stopped at the border if Canadians tried to drive them into the United States. So it does seem to be quite a problematic issue. And I really don't think that we can have a China policy which is different from that of the United States without the United States retaliating against us in the myriad ways that we're seeing they can do that. I really feel that our declaring that we have a strategic partnership with China was the wrong move, and we ought to move back on that.
Yeah, we should, but there's a reason why Carney did that. He's got a plan there. He's working with Xi Jinping. That's why Xi Jinping campaigned for him during the election. He met with Xi Jinping in 2014. Brookfield has a big loan from China. Carney's been meeting with Chinese officials back since the days when he was the governor of Bank of England. He's been making these relationships for more than a decade. Carney's rolling out his net zero agenda, and one of those pivotal pieces is the physical stuff that they need, like solar panels, wind turbines. Those all come from China. That's why he needs Xi Jinping on board for that. Moving ahead, we've got this post here by Mark Goldberg. I thought this was interesting. He's pointing out that Chrystia Freeland still has obligations under the Conflicts of Interest Act, even after leaving office and going over to Ukraine. We have that listed here. So, post-employment rules for all former public office holders. No former public office holder shall act in a manner as to take improper advantage of his or her previous public office. No former public officer may act on behalf of person or organization to which the Crown is party. No former public office holder shall give advice to his or her client, business associates, etc., using information that was obtained during time at the government, essentially. No former reporting public office holder shall enter into a contract service with or accept appointment to a board of directors, accept employment offer, etc., or have any significant official dealings during the period of which 1 year immediately before his or her last day in office. So basically, all of these here saying you can't have business dealings that involve, enrich anything to do with being in the government. Somehow I feel like she's already violated this, or she will violate this. I mean, she was already double dipping. It came out that she's an agent of Ukraine while she's in the Canadian government. I mean, she needs to be investigated. Ezra Levant brought this up today. So in reply to this post here from Blacklock's reporter, Chrystia Freeland will be resigning tomorrow, and Ezra Levant saying that's not good enough. Zelensky hired her on December 22nd. She disclosed that to Carney on the 24th. Carney knew about this. Most definitely he knew about it. The two of them decided to keep it a secret because they gave $2.5 billion of our money to Ukraine on December 27th. She needs to be investigated. As he says, what was her involvement in that December 27th decision? She needs to be investigated here for fraud, for corruption, for money laundering. This is beyond serious here. We're going to hand over billions of dollars of our money to Ukraine, and then she's going to go over as an economic advisor to Zelensky in Ukraine, and this is decided before that money is handed over? Come on. Also in the news, CTV fear-mongering more Donald Trump. Canada's next. Inuk lawyer says Greenland's sovereignty must be upheld. That's not what's really happening here. What's really happening is Donald Trump is offering the people of Greenland money to join America. Breaking, the U.S. is considering paying Greenlanders $10,000 to $100,000 per person to support secession from Denmark. Look at the numbers of this. I mean, there's roughly 60,000 people. That'll cost them $6 billion. If they offer $100,000 a piece, they could offer them $1 million a piece. $60 billion, America can pay for that. They'll get way more back from that. This guy pointing out the average income there is $59,000 a year, handing them 1 year's salary, $3.3 billion. I mean, there's a price there. I think $100,000 a piece, and you would have more than 50% of the people saying, yes, let's join America.
I love Moose on the Loose. He's really good at his job. He really, you get a lot of information. It's really worth listening to him about what's going on. He's very thorough. He's strong opinions, and they sound true because he brings the documents.
I think this comes down to simple numbers here. I mean, really, do you think the people living here in these cold conditions are going to turn down, say, $1 million a piece? Of course not. Probably 70-80% of the people would say yes to that, if not more. These are not easy conditions to live in, and I'm sure it's very expensive to live there. Importing food, it's not like they're growing oranges up here. Greenland's actually one of the most interesting places I've wanted to go hiking because the landscape there is unlike anything else. It's century tundra land that doesn't have trees that grows there, so it's really hard to live there because most things will not grow there. That's why they survive off of fish. And of course, we got sea.
Moose really loves nature, do stuff in nature. Very interesting person, but he's got a great. I think he's got a great newscast here.
BBC fear-mongering.
Many Greenlanders aren't keen on Donald Trump's interest in their home.
We don't want to be Americans. We are Kalaallit. We are Greenlanders.
Greenland is home to over 50,000 Kalaallimut. Colonized by Denmark in the 18th century, in 1953 it formally joined the country and gained partial control over its own affairs.
Yeah, what they don't tell you, though, is that it was forced annexation. They changed the constitution and forced them. They didn't get to vote on that. Europe can say all they want. I mean, the people of Greenland didn't have a say back then. Donald Trump is offering them a say with money. Do you want a bunch of money?
This is really interesting to sort of get a glimpse into the history of Greenland and what's happened to them. Sounds like we're going to get some hot chocolate shortly. Are you making hot chocolate, baby?
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you want a hot chocolate, I'll make hot chocolate. But I've heated up that pot with the cold remedy.
Okay, well.
And you can have one of those if you prefer.
All right. Since that's what you're making, I'll have that.
Okay, I'll turn the kettle off.
Money and join our country?
It's looking for more sovereignty.
The people will vote on it.
We're in a time where we are working towards independence from the Kingdom of Denmark, and we've been
They're looking for independence from the Kingdom of Denmark. And
working on that for many, many years. I think that it's very common that everybody wants to be sovereign in one's own house, and we really need people to respect that.
When it comes down to it, a country of 60,000, it can't stand on their own legs. They just can't. It's too small. You don't have enough GDP output.
this is a good point. Don't have enough GDP output, you can't stand on your own, is the claim.
To be a country. Like, let's get real. The land is so inhospitable that most people won't want to move there. So you're going to have a small population. You really need to be part of another nation. I mean, that's why they're part of Denmark right now. Even this opposition MP in
Okay, thank you.
Greenland saying that it should be up to the people. And listen to this. He sticks it to David Cochrane right to his face.
That is certainly the position of most other countries.
This is a great interview. This Greenlander talking to CBC. I've listened to it already.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Yep.
Is that what happens with Greenland is up to the people of Greenland, the people of Denmark, to decide on their own through whatever mechanism exists in your laws. But they are talking about.
So the guy says, the CBC reporter says it's up to Greenland, and is it Denmark that owns them?
Yeah.
And Denmark, and the Greenlanders just sitting there. No, it's up to us, not Denmark. That's what I think his smile is saying.
About in international.
Greenland is saying that, hey, we've been part of Denmark for 800 years. We're not about to change.
Oh, that's what you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
That's not.
It's like the U.S. has only been around for 200 years. This has been a part of Denmark for 800 years.
I think they're ready for a change. I think they're ready for a change, kiddo.
National security strategy of a dominance of the hemisphere, and saying the president on Air Force One that they're going to have more to say about Greenland in like 20 days and that they would like your territory. So you see no sort of menace in that whatsoever from the president of the United States.
Sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but you have to, again, remember, what you're talking about is two different things. It's not the territory that is important. It's the people. Mm-hmm. A territory is never granted any powers by international law. It's the people. So again, I'll repeat it once more. Why doesn't everybody just back up of the Green before?
This is a good point. I don't know the law, but this man is saying that it's not about the land, it's about the people. Land is never given any powers. It's the people that are given powers. I think that makes sense.
For the Greenlandic people to have a dialogue with the U.S. without the press present. Excuse me for saying it that bluntly, but because the press doesn't seem to help at this point.
The press is not helping. The press is not helping. So we're going to talk with the United States, just me and them. Greenland and the U.S. are going to have a conversation without the press. That's what this... And Greenland belongs to its people.
You only seem to make it worse by creating a conflict where there is none, because everybody is speculating. Right now, what I heard from you before was that, well, Stephen Miller says something. Well, Donald Trump, who is the president of the United States, has already said that it's up to the Greenlandic people to decide what we want to do. And what we actually need to do right now is have a dialogue between Greenland and the U.S. without Denmark or anybody else present to figure out what is it they want to do. We're not even there yet because everybody is talking about annexation and NATO is falling apart and all that, instead of actually saying, well, let the Greenlanders decide what they want to do.
This guy just called out David Cochrane to his face for fear-mongering because that's all the media does. They're a mouthpiece of the government, funded by the government. They're not there to actually deliver honest news. You got Juno News posting this, which is hilarious. Anne Sue Levy writes, "It makes me think Carney suffers from terrible judgment and extreme case of FOMO, fear of missing out, or the narcissistic belief that he is far better than Trump." I really don't know what it is. I mean, Justin Trudeau, Captain Schmuck, like he loved hamming it up. He loved being in front of everything. He was truly a narcissist. He thought he was better than everyone else. Carney's a different beast here. I think he's a narcissist too, but he comes from this globalist banker world. He comes from this level of being in the circles of elite. He knows King Charles well. Him and Diana Fox Carney, all of them, they're all wrapped up. Prince Andrew, all of these people. So, I mean, he comes from that world. I don't think it's just narcissism. I think it's entitlement. I think he has a sense of entitlement that he's better. He's better than everyone. He's better than Donald Trump. And as this guy says, yep, Carney is clearly full of himself. The guy never faced adversity or hardship in his life. Yep, this guy doesn't know what a bad day, a real bad day, looks like.
All right. Okay. That's true. That could be true. That could be Carney's situation.
By the way, Marco Rubio tells lawmakers Trump wants to buy Greenland. Okay. Now the question is, you can't find it on sale on Realtor, Zillow, all these other sites. We were talking about it earlier, but apparently they want to make an offer. What does that mean? Rubio, out of nowhere, makes that announcement, and people are reacting to it, buying up Greenland. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told lawmakers Trump wants to buy Greenland rather than invade it. While Mr. Trump...
This is Valuetainment. They have 7.11 million subscribers. This video is... I can't see. This video is 32 minutes ago, 5,199 views. So we're going to have a little listen. It's 9 minutes long.
Trump has asked aides to give him an update on the plan for acquiring the territory, U.S. officials said on Tuesday. Rob, is this a clip of Rubio or?
No, this is President Trump talking about the necessity of acquiring Greenland.
Go for it.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security.
Cold War II.
And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, that sounds right. I suppose if you think about those other bigger powers.
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now.
Oh, no. I don't want to talk about Greenland now. After the dog sled.
National security.
Oh, my God.
And the European Union needs wants us to have it, and they know that.
That's amazing.
Listen to that last line. The EU knows that it is strategic. They know that there's a gateway up there where Russian naval forces come through. They also know that that Nuuk could be a base of operations for a fast response to the Northern Atlantic. And what you just heard there, that is the story behind the story. They'll have you believe that it's all rare earth minerals. Well, there's a lot of rare earth stuff that's very valuable in Greenland that would help the West. All of the West, by the way, not just the USA. But he's saying there needs to be more security. Greenland is a strategic location, and the Dutch aren't going to get it done, and the EU knows it. So the EU may be posturing publicly, but privately they know that if Russia gets more out of hand following the resolution of Ukraine, which we hope is in a short time, is that this is important. And you just heard it there at the very, very end of it. By the way, 54,000 population.
Yeah.
54,000. So
how's the nightlife? It's like it's got a good party time. Or?
No, I think that's it. I think it's 54,000. I think it's just the same population as Boca Raton, Florida.
54,000. By the way, while this is going on Tuesday, leaders of 6 NATO nations joined Mette Frederiksen, the Prime Minister of Denmark, to issue a remarkable joint statement pushing back against Trump's assertion that the U.S. should be taking over Greenland. The nations that aligned with Denmark were Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Poland, all of which are close allies of the U.S. So it's interesting. Jeff.
So they're just negotiating for a price.
That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Rob, can you pull up an overhead or an overhead map of the pole, the North Pole, so you can really see? You really have to appreciate where Greenland is.
How do you get there? That everyone's just negotiating for a price.
In its actual context, to understand what Trump is talking about. Again, you have to think about this from the perspective of Cold War II. And if you see Greenland in there, look at where Russia is. It's right in the middle of everything there. It's basically, just from a military perspective, where the Russians have most of their military assets on the Kolar Peninsula or whatever it's called. It's basically straight line across from Greenland. So what Trump says about a strategic location of Greenland is absolutely correct. And if you are thinking and acting as if we are in Cold War II, that is essential to the United States as Taiwan is to China. Because if you look at the strategic area of China, China is basically bottled in the Pacific by Taiwan.
Right.
So you have all of these strategic bottlenecks. So that's where this is coming from. You're right. It's not rare earth. I mean, rare earth would be a bonus and a benefit, sure. Who was it that came out? There's somebody on social media came out with an idea. As you said, there's only 50-some thousand people in Greenland. Why not give them all $1 million? We're going to give every one of you $1 million. It's going to cost $50 billion. Nothing for the U.S. I mean, they borrowed the money anyway. We're going to give you $50 billion. We're going to give Greenland $50 billion. You guys vote to have the U.S. annex. But the point I'm making, though, is that from the Trump administration's perspective, understanding Cold War II, Greenland is absolutely essential.
And by the way, Rob, can you put that map back up there? There's an area called Murmansk, and take a look at where Murmansk is. It's very close to Finland. It always makes Finland very nervous. You see it right there, where on the
just
northern edge by the red line?
Yeah.
That is where the Russian Navy and the nuclear sub headquarters is. And that is if you want to look at the Fort Knox of Russian Navy interest, that's it. And so Greenland gives you an opportunity to monitor in the Northern Atlantic, and Russia knows it, and they don't want it. By the way, Boca Raton, Florida has 104,000 people. Greenland has 56,000. So I said it was about the same, probably. But if Boca Raton had a war with Greenland, Boca would probably have to give up 7.5 points.
So it's so Greenland's going to be like a Ukraine, pretty much, at the very least at first.
What is more likely to happen? Us getting Panama Canal, us getting Greenland. I mean, what else would be on that list?
I think the canal is not a done deal, but I think there is an absolute path to do it.
This year, is this impossible or is this possible?
I think step one, like we're going to put assets in Greenland that make it like a satellite at the very least. Like that's not a hard sell. And I think the harder thing to do is the Panama Canal, because we probably have to use force to do that if we don't do it the civil way through BlackRock.
Yeah, I think they're just like negotiating on price with Greenland. It's this is what it is. I mean, that's what Trump does. He's negotiating through the public and through private means, and they're just trying to come up with a fair price that actually works for everybody.
I agree with that. I mean, that does not surprise me. That's what Trump's always doing. He's always negotiating something, publicly or privately.
But
this is the Prime Minister of Denmark?
Yes.
Good
And she
for her.
responds.
What'd she say?
Oh boy.
Threats, pressure, and condescending remarks, even from our closest allies for a generation, about wanting to take over another country and another people as if it was something you could buy and own. That has no place anywhere.
Except all of
We
human
shoulder
history.
our responsibility in the world, and it is not us who will seek out conflict. But let there be no doubt, no matter what happens, we will stand firm on what is right and what is wrong.
Right. Okay. All right. So deal's coming our way here soon. And
good luck with the dog sled.
You know, you can see almost Trump in his, the Godfather sense. I'm going to make him an offer they can't refuse. That's what he's working toward.
Having said that, folks, since September 9th or 10th, even when we went to Aspen, I keep telling you this, I have been wearing the same exact shoes. I'm not kidding with you. This sounds crazy, doesn't it? It has to be. It's the only thing that I wear every single day, and I show you every single time. This is on, right? Future Looks Bright shoes. We are now seeing this in 20, I think we just hit 25 or 26 countries that it's been ordered in. If you're somewhere in the world watching this, you haven't placed an order yet, go ahead. But here's a Future Looks Bright shoes. Rob, go ahead and play the clip. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed,
That sounds really good. Let's see what happens.
not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. All right, so guys, it's officially on the fourth order. This is how quickly this thing's going right now. Well, we were not expecting for a shoe, but it has become such a big hit. And the biggest thing is people come to this page and they compare to the Berluti, the Ferragamo, the Zegna, the Gucci, and you look at the FLB and what it offers with the Superfoam technology at the bottom of it and the craftsmanship, made in Tuscany, Italy, at 5 factories. If you haven't placed an order for yourself or your husband or your son or somebody, go place an order. They will fall in love with
Oh, they're very expensive, though.
the shoes. Go read the reviews on the website for yourself, only from people who purchased the shoes, and enjoy it. They'll come back to you saying, this is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. And having said that, let's get right into it. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.
Okay, what else we got next?
Liberal MP for Rose.
Okay, so a conservative MP blocked from speaking on university campus. Juno News. I don't know who these people are. 4 hours ago, a planned campus event involving conservative MP Garnet Genius was prevented from going ahead after the York University Student Union refused to allow the use of public space on campus. The event was intended to take place in an open area, allowing students to engage in informal discussions about unemployment, housing, and economic conditions. Genius joins Mark Petrion to explain the rationale provided by the student union. Student unions are crazy. And what it says about political activity and engagement on Canadian university campuses. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most Canadian university campuses have been captured. Also, longtime Liberal MP Christina Freeland has confirmed she will vacate her seat in the House of Commons after previously indicating she would remain for several more weeks. Her departure follows the announcement that she has accepted an advisory role with the government of Ukraine, which came shortly after Canada approved additional financial assistance. Plus, the Liberals' gun buyback program saw another setback after a pilot phase in Nova Scotia resulted in far fewer guns being turned in than projected. Quite an interesting time, really, in Canada.
Rosedale has abruptly announced she's leaving office tomorrow. Her social media post reads as follows. On Monday, I announced my intention to leave the House of Commons in the coming weeks. Today, I have written to the Speaker to confirm that I will vacate my seat effective this Friday, January 9th.
Sure.
Why the sudden change in plans? Freeland has been caught up in a conflict of interest scandal after accepting an offer to be economic development advisor to Ukraine this week. That job offer was announced just days after Canada handed Ukraine $2.5 billion in aid. If you think the timing of that is suspicious, you're not alone.
I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know who these people are or what they're doing, but they're definitely some fishy business.
When exactly did Freeland receive the job offer from Volodymyr Zelensky? Was she already working?
Oh, she had a job offer from that guy.
For Ukraine when Canadian taxpayers were handed a bill for $2.5 billion in aid for her new employer. The other question, did the Prime Minister demand she leave this week rather than have the stench of this scandal hanging over the government for weeks to come? So far, the Liberal gun buyback program has fallen short, far short of expectations. The pilot program has only collected 25 firearms in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Government officials had hoped to collect 200 guns. Not to be deterred, the Liberal government told CBC it's learned some lessons after the failure of this pilot program. Since 2020, Ottawa has spent millions of dollars banning and trying to buy back 2,500 makes and models of firearms, arguing they are really designed for warfare. York University has abruptly canceled an event featuring Conservative MP Garnet Genuis. Genuis posted this on X. My event at York University, scheduled for this Friday, is now canceled due to a decision of the student union not to allow it. I'm pretty surprised, he said.
I think we're going to go find out who this Garnet Genius is. Says he's a Canadian politician. Never really liked to go to Member of Parliament for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan. Incumbent assumed as he assumed office November 19th, 2015. So he's been there for a long time. Don't really like to have to go to Wikipedia. It's the first one that came up. Let's go back. Can we not go back? What else we got? X. We're gonna go to X. C. There he is. That's a shame. All right, we're gonna stop streaming now and see what